It's to actually learn about the administrative state and how to deconstruct it. Where do people go? Because I want to make sure this is a mass participation exercise, sir.
Project2025.org, project2025.org. And I just want to underscore what you just said, Steve. Let's say someone is inspired to go participate in this, but they say, Steve, Kevin, I can't, as Kevin likes to say, tithe 2 or 4 years to go to D.C., but I want to be part of what I call the Second American Revolution, hopefully bloodless or no more blood than has been spilled by the left.
David Duke, a former Grand Wizard of the Klan, won a seat in the Louisiana legislature.
David Duke has been trying to shed his image as a cross-burning Klansman for almost 10 years now. He's still having difficulty doing that with a lot of people.
This is not the issue of this campaign. It's not a Jewish, Christian issue or controversy. It's not a black-white controversy. I'm an individual standing up for equal rights for everybody.
He did persuade a little more than half of the voters who went to the polls this weekend that he should be elected to the Louisiana legislature. Political analysts say there are several reasons why Duke won. First of all, he was a better campaigner than his opponent. And second, he was saying what a lot of voters wanted to hear, that whites should have rights as well as minorities. When Duke left the Klan, he founded the National Association for the Advancement of White People.
It's not a question of being against minorities at all. It's simply a question of making sure that our rights are also protected. That if we're going to have civil rights in America, we must have civil rights for everyone and not a chosen few.
David Duke has been repudiated by his party, vilified by his opponents, exposed as a racist in this TV commercial.
White victory. White victory.
And yet a large number of voters support Duke in his race against the incumbent Democrat J. Bennett Johnston, who calls Duke a lying racist. Duke, who campaigns against affirmative action and welfare mothers, claims that Johnston was once a segregationist.
He still seems to be for racial discrimination. Only now it's against whites instead of blacks.
The polls indicate Johnston is clearly the front-runner in this race. But the polls have notoriously underestimated David Duke before. He's expected to get a lot of votes Saturday, and if he does lose, the message of his campaign will linger long after the election.
Former Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke is officially running for the governor of Louisiana. Shunned by fellow Republicans and turned down by voters in the last election, Duke still predicts victory this fall. Gary Mattingly of WDSU reports.
David Duke is not letting his controversial past stop him from getting to the governor's mansion. The state representative from suburban New Orleans is the latest in a field of candidates trying to win that post. Duke tried unsuccessfully to get into the U.S. Senate, but his showing was impressive, getting more than 40% of the vote. This time, Duke says he's more confident the votes will be there to take him over the top.
I can guarantee you that the Republican vote will not be split. I'll receive 85% of the Republican vote in this election, plus a great percentage of the Democratic vote.
Once again, Duke will have to contend with the groups trying to block his candidacy. Reverend James Stovall is with the Louisiana Coalition Against Racism and Nazism.
We think that the image of David Duke is such that he will not get the vote again that he did once before.
In truth, I'm a simple man and quite unremarkable in my talents. Yet I'm smart enough to recognize the harsh realities and maybe dumb enough to verbalize that understanding out loud. Every political rule I break, but I'm not broken.
While Duke failed in his attempt to make it to the U.S. Senate, this time he feels his chances are very good for making it to the governor's mansion.
It's around 5 p.m. on Saturday, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania. Supporters of former President Donald Trump are waiting for him to take the stage. They've been trickling in throughout the afternoon. 5:06 p.m., around 1 hour before Trump takes the stage, a person who appears to be 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks is caught on camera. In a video obtained exclusively by WTAE, he is seen pacing around these buildings just outside the security perimeter of the rally. He appears unarmed at this time. Law enforcement sources confirmed to ABC News they believe this is the suspected shooter who in a little over an hour will fire at the former president. While Crooks apparently paces outside the rally, two teams of counter-snipers are about to take their positions here, on these two buildings located behind where Trump will take the stage. 6:03 p.m., former President Donald Trump takes the stage at a campaign rally. 6:05 p.m., Trump stands behind the podium and begins to speak.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd.
Rally attendees have been scanned for weapons before entering the event. 6:09 p.m., just 2 minutes before the first gunshots, the counter-sniper team positioned further south turns to face towards the building where the gunman is located. In the next minute, we will see them begin to move into position, kneeling down, grabbing their weapons, and pointing them in the direction of the shooter.
The Republican Party.
At the same time, 6:09 p.m., witnesses notice a gunman on the roof of this building located here, just outside the security perimeter. He is in an elevated position and around 400 feet away from the former president. Law enforcement sources later tell ABC News the shooter made his way onto the building by pulling himself up using an AC unit. 6:10 p.m., 1 minute before the first gunshots. A bystander captures what appears to be local law enforcement walking around looking at these two structures. Local law enforcement would later tell ABC News they had been alerted of suspicious activity in the area and were in the process of looking for a potential suspect.
You guys are doing it.
6:10 p.m. Trump pivots his head slightly to the right and starts describing a chart showing immigration stats. One of the counter-sniper teams is visible in this witness video. These onlookers notice something is off and start running away from where the shooter is located. 6:11 p.m. Trump has been speaking for about 8 minutes.
Our country took over, and look what happened to us.
A supporter captures this footage from outside the rally perimeter moments before gunshots are heard.
You know, that's a little bit
The first shot rings out. A second and a third shot are heard. Former President Trump ducks behind the podium. Another round of shots. 6:12 p.m. More agents huddle around Trump. About 15 seconds go by and we hear one last shot. From these bleachers located to the right of where Trump is speaking, a bystander captures agents huddled around the former president, shielding him. He then shifts the camera to the crowd. Someone needs help. An attendee appears to be shot, possibly in the head. An ER doctor jumping in to help. The victim will later be identified as 50-year-old Corey Compertor, a firefighter and a father of two. The family would post tributes online later that evening. An agent is heard saying the shooter is down.
Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear.
Secret Service agents lift the former president.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold on.
Blood is visible on his face and shirt.
Watch out.
He pumps his fist into the air. The crowd starts to chant. Agents escort Trump down the stairs. He continues to pump his fist. He is escorted into a black SUV that drives away from the grounds.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó.
Bystanders capture footage of what is believed to be the suspected gunman's body laying motionless on the roof of a nearby building. The building located north of where the president was speaking, just under 400 feet away from him. Later that evening, former President Trump confirms in a social media post that a bullet pierced the upper part of his right ear. The path of that bullet captured here in this image taken by New York Times photographer Doug Mills. Law enforcement will later confirm that one attendee was killed. That was Corey Combertor, the firefighter, a husband, and a father to 2 girls. Law enforcement said he shielded his wife and daughter with his body. 2 others were also critically injured but are now in stable condition. The Secret Service is now investigating how a gunman got close enough to shoot and injure the former president. According to law enforcement sources, the 20-year-old Pennsylvania man fired from an AR-style rifle. The suspected shooter was killed by a Secret Service sniper.